Hi, my name is Agata.
Hi, my name is Alice.
Welcome in Agata's Cottage. Today we have a fun tag video for you. It's this or that sewing edition. This tag challenge was created, this tag fun, by Julie from the Created Curvy. She has great channel, she's fabulous vlogger, and I love watching her videos. And I was tagged by my dear friend Tiffany from Hosier Handmade. So Alice will be asking me questions, kind of like an interview, yes? So let's start.
Topic 1. Sewing prep. Question 1. Shopping new versus stash busting.
How do you think?
Shopping new.
Actually, it's not that easy for me. I do have a big stash and I do love buying fabrics, you know that. Yeah, but I'm going on a shopping ban.
When did that ever come about?
Okay, but anyway, I buy fabrics with the vague idea what I might want to do with it. Not specific pattern, just think like trousers, top, jumper or tracksuit set, things like that. And I buy the yardage based on that. But I don't buy things for specific patterns. When I want to make a pattern, I actually shop my stash. So for me, answer is both.
Question 2. PDFs versus paper patterns.
So which one you think?
Both.
Yeah, you know the answer for the question. Actually, yes, Alice is right, both. I do love patterns from magazines like Autobre or Made by Oranges. So I do like tracing the patterns, and even when I have a paper pattern, like, you know, Simplicity New Look, I never cut into them. I actually trace them out and cut them out. I do love ease of getting just single size printed and then cut out, but I very rarely make things for someone who doesn't need specific adjustments or like grading between the sizes. So I usually print few sizes anyway, so I either end up tracing the pattern if I printed, for example, bigger size, or I just end up grading between on the paper. But I do like them both.
Question 3. Cutting versus tracing.
So I kind of already answered that question.
Tracing.
I do prefer tracing. I never cut into paper patterns. I do cut into printed PDFs if they were A4 sticked by me. If I have them printed in the shop like a A0 printing, I actually trace from those as well. I know, I'm weird. But for me, tracing is kind of getting to know the pattern before I will cut into my fabric. So when I trace the pattern, I know where the notches are. I see the image in my head, what goes where. It's like puzzles.
Question 4. Muslin or just go for it?
Neither. So in general, I do wearable muslins. In some cases I go for it, but it all depends on the pattern. It depends on the pattern company. If it's Ellie and Mac, I just go for it. If it's Love Notions, I just go for it. If there are other pattern companies, I do make wearable muslin, or I use the fabric that I don't like, or I have a roll of woven fabric just for doing muslins and I just give it a try there. But it all depends on the pattern, depends on the pattern company, on the make, because, you know, some things are relatively easy to fix and some not. So I never cut straight into my good fabric, like good fancy fabric that I cherish and I keep in my stash for very long time.
Cherries.
Like my cherries, yes. But But I did cut through them to one of the cherries.
I'm talking about the fact that it's like the moment you see them, like. Topic 2. Fabric. Question 1. In-store versus online.
So which one you prefer?
Online shopping?
Probably because it's quicker.
Yes, but I also think in-store shopping would be cool.
I actually prefer in-store shopping because I do like to feel the fabric. But surprisingly, when I shop in store, I buy way less of fabrics than when I shop online. It's actually, for me, it's harder to resist online shopping versus the in-fabric shopping, mainly because there's only one local shop that I go to buy anything, and it's Fabric Outlet. They don't have as big.
Also, White.
White is closed.
They're closed now?
Yeah, they are closed now. I know. So I do prefer to go in store and feel the fabric, but I do spend more in online stores. It's just
Most of these fabrics that she has in her stash,
I have a lot.
online bought. Mostly.
Yes, but I do have a lot. Okay. Next question.
Question 2. Knits versus wovens.
Knits. Any day of the week, knits. They are much quicker to sew and much easier to fit into your body versus woven.
Question.
Yes.
Are knits knitted?
Not exactly. They are knitted by the big machines that are creating them with something like knitting needles, but they're like
knitting needles, but they're like
they're gigantic machines, and
like they basically knit with electricity poles.
No, not with electricity poles. I will show you how the jersey looks under the magnifying glass, so you will see it does look like the knitting loops thingies when you knit.
And what's a woven?
Wovens are the fabrics that are like you have threads going like this way and you go between
weaved?
Yes.
I almost said woved.
No, they're weaved. Yeah.
Tumble dry versus hang to dry.
It depends on the fabric. If I have French terry or jersey from Ecobee, I will put them after wash to the tumble dryer. Never ever anything happened with them. I do hang ready things that are already made and I dry them on the drying rack. Things from other shops, because I never know, I just wash them and I hang them. Things like viscose jersey, I will hang them. Things like woven fabrics and denim, all things like that, I will just wash them at 30 degrees and hang them on the drying rack or on the radiator occasionally, or on the line if there's sunny, actually no, not sunny, not rainy day. That's the best thing.
And let's just say that happens once in a blue moon.
Yeah, it happens once in the blue moon. Actually, I got some fabric almost dried yesterday. Yes,
and then it rained.
And then started raining, but I caught it when it just got tiny bit wet, so it was good.
Question 4. Rotary cutters versus scissors.
It all depends. Majority of the time scissors, unless it's something like bias binding, then I prefer to do rotary cutter. And my mat and the quilting ruler, it's if things for quilting, I do prefer rotary cutter as well. So for any quilting related stuff, rotary cutter plus the bias binding, and for cutting out the pattern pieces for garments, scissors. Okay.
Topic 3. Clothing construction. Question 1. Follow the pattern or wing it?
I'm incapable of following the pattern as it is. It's against my nature. I always know better. Like part things come from the experience of making a lot of things, and sometimes things that I want to do certain way don't work. Most of the time, if it's something I never tried before or it's a bit tricky, I will follow the pattern. And if I'm not happy with the result, I will just go with my gut. But most of the time, it's like, you get the pattern pieces, I read the instruction once and I just go for it. Yeah.
Question 2. Bias tape versus facings.
All depends. On woven garments, I do prefer facings. On knit garments, I prefer bias tape. And I actually like bias tape. I don't mind putting bias tape on the wovens. I just prefer the more elegant look of facing versus bias tape in some cases.
Question 3. Serged seams versus French seams.
Yes, so on overlocker.
Yes, I know. I'm saying serged.
Okay. So it depends also. So for woven makes, I do prefer French seams where I can include them. If I can't, I will do the Hong Kong finish, or I will do binded seams. Occasionally, I would serge them. Yes.
What's a Hong Kong?
What's the Hong Kong finish? So you have, let me grab a piece of fabric. So imagine this is your seam, okay? And you have seam going somewhere here, and you have, okay, so after the make is make, there are two sides of the seams. That's your seam allowance. Yes.
Yeah.
So in Hong Kong finish, you put bias binding on both sides of the seam, so everything is nice and tidy. It's actually great finish for jackets, coats, and stuff like that. So it all depends. Like knit garments, I just sew them straight on the overlocker, so they're overlocked. Certain woven garments, I will actually overlock the pattern pieces first before sewing the make, especially if the fabric is very fragile. Like I cut out yesterday overlords for Alice, and as soon as we are done with this video, I'm actually overlocking all the edges of the cut out pattern pieces, because this fabric frays a lot. It has relatively loose weave, so you'll basically touch the side and the thread is coming off. So I don't want risking having problems with the garment. Yeah, so it will be overlocked soon. But as I mentioned, it depends. For wovens, majority of the time, where I can, I will go for French seams.
Question 4. Buttonfly versus zip fly. What's a buttonfly?
Ideally, neither. When you have a trousers with the zip, like your jeans. So
it just hides the buttons?
Yes. So if I will have to do a fly, I will just go with zip fly. I don't mind doing buttons, but buttons on the fly, no, just too many and too close and too difficult.
Before I knew what a buttonfly or a zip fly was, I was like, why would you button a fly and why would you zip a fly? It's like, why? Just why? Why?
Okay.
Poor fly. Two fly. 5.
Okay, so what's the question 5?
Button by hand versus machine sewn.
And I think we both have the same answer.
Hand.
Yes, by hand. I I do prefer sewing buttons by hand, something that my mom taught me, my grandmother taught me, and
you taught me.
And I taught Alice.
And the sewing place thingy taught me.
Yeah, it's just, for me, it's something very calming when you have your make almost finished and you can just pause and focus and add the buttons one by one. It's kind of like, when you write a letter, the dot at the end of the sentence. Basically.
For me, it's like, can someone else do this for me? I don't like it. And I, like, if I could, I'd be like, hey, you over there, do you want to come over and do my buttons?
And hey, you would be usually me.
No, I mean like in the teaching thingy.
Oh, okay.
Question 6. Feasible versus sewn in interfacing.
So you know what interfacing is?
Yes.
What is it?
It's where you have a backing whenever you, like, just using quilt stuff.
No, that's not interfacing. That's batting. Interfacing is type of stabilizer.
When you have one layer, interfacing layer.
Yes, but not
basically like batting. Yeah.
Okay, in the lame terms, yes, it's a stabilizer that is a sandwich between two pieces of fabric.
Yes, I'm just going simple.
Okay.
I don't know what it's called in science, so I'm using quilting terms.
Okay, so yeah, I do prefer fusible. I do prefer the one with glue, basically.
Hello, Fuzzy.
I do prefer the one with glue, and ideally, if it's woven interfacing, I do prefer woven interfacing versus non-woven ones. I have some mid-weight interfacing family member bought for me a few years ago, and I love it. It's brilliant for bags. Yes, Muslin?
Did you say mid or meat?
Mid. Mid-weight.
You said...
So it's like, it's not heavy.
You could have said mid, not meat. Because I'm like, why are you...
Okay, it's not heavy, it's not light, it's in between.
It's...
middleweight interfacing, okay?
You say mid.
Yeah, it's midweight interfacing.
You said meat.
No, I didn't say... Okay, let's go to the next question.
Question 7. Snip as you go or all at once?
I would prefer to say that I'm snip as you go, but it all depends what mood I'm in, because majority of the time it's not. I will... so when I'm doing a t-shirt or something, I will do the shoulder seams and both of them, and then I will secure the thread from the side where the sleeve goes. I will add the sleeves, and then I will secure the sleeve sides, then I will do the side seam, and then I will go back and secure the neck things. So it's kind of secure as you go, but not necessarily. So
in between.
Yeah, so kind of in between, basically. I'm kind of moderate person in regards to sewing, except for fabric stash.
When if I would, whenever I was do a thingy, I'd preferably, cause I sew not really clothing, but belt. I was when I was just about to turn it right way out, I was like, do I have to snip all these threads, or can I just leave it because no one's gonna see it?
So in general, you should...
I left it.
But you should trim them just in case.
I was like, I'm not bothered. But on the outside, even when I got super annoyed because the sewing lesson finished just when I was about to finish this seam, I was like, well, I better just cut it, even though I will hopefully manage to get a straight line. And when I'm finishing it, I didn't win like wee. Sad.
Oh.
I was so mad that I really wanted to just go get, seam picker or it's just scissors.
Yeah.
And just like snip, snip, snip and just redo.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah. Alice used to take some sewing lessons from the company that does sewing across our region. She doesn't anymore. She decided after one semester she prefers to be taught at home. So that's what we are doing.
Question 8. Press as you go or all at once?
So in between, it's the same situation as with snipping or securing threads in the garments. I will do shoulder seams, I will press them, I will do sleeve seams, I will press them, etc. So it's not that I will do one shoulder seam press, second shoulder seam press. I try to be as efficient as I can.
Topic 4. Sewing habits. Question 1. Late night seamstress versus daytime seamstress.
Neither. I will sew whenever I can. So when Alice is in school and I have some time, I'm sewing. Sometimes when she's doing homework, I'm sewing. Sometimes on the evening,
When I go to sleep.
Sometimes when she goes to sleep, but I try not to because I know that the machine is relatively loud and the walls aren't that thick and she can hear me. Although a few times she was like, oh, I can't fall asleep, and 2 minutes later she was snoring.
I don't snore that bad.
Yeah. And the machine was still going.
At least I'm not at Daddy's level of snoring.
No, I don't think anyone is at Daddy's level.
Question 2. Sewing steady versus frantic sewing.
It all depends on the make. Most of the time I'm frantic sewist. I will just, if I get into sewing something, I will forget that dinner needs to be made and people are hungry. I will forget that I should eat because I haven't eaten since morning. If I get into, special zone, then the world doesn't exist. Because of that, I actually set up myself alarms on my phone where I need to go to pick Alice from school, so I won't miss it because it could happen. If I'm in a zone, I don't know what time it is. I'm sewing.
That's me reading.
Yeah, that's Alice reading. Yeah.
I cannot hear anybody. If you're talking to me, I'm like, if you manage to get me out of reading, I'm like, huh? What do you say? And yeah, you got annoyed at me about that because I didn't hear you.
I know. But I get annoyed when I call you 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, I was reading and I don't pay attention when people are talking to me when I read. Why would I?
Luckily, reading is the only thing I will not put the ban on. But sometimes you're so close.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So yeah, there are things that I'm sewing slowly and bit by bit and don't pressure myself too much. It took me over 100 hours to make Alice communion dress, and I did few trial version of the bodice to make sure that everything is okay, and I took my time and did layer by layer and other things in between because I was getting sick of it by the hour 50 and there was twice as much. But yeah, it's most of the time I'm frantic. So last question.
Question 3. Tidy as you go versus one big cleaning session. Or never.
Hey, that's mean.
I said or never.
That's mean.
I didn't say you don't ever.
Yeah, you looked at my desk.
I was actually stretching.
Okay, so in general, I will finish the project and I will tidy up after the project unless it's something very similar. So if I'm doing underwear, I will do batch and then tidy up. If I'm doing like now dresses for Dress a Girl, I started sewing, I will be doing batch sewing of those, and then I will tidy up every few dresses, because it's easier this way. In general, I try to have my desk relatively organized. I try to put things back into the zipper pouch they belong. I know it's something new. I started doing it like 3 or 4 months ago, and actually it helps me keep my desk under crazy level.
Under mildly not crazy level.
Yeah, like now it's crazy because I put some things there that doesn't belong there, but it will be gone soon.
Hopefully.
But yeah, in general, I'm in between. Like with majority of the questions, I'm in between.
What just came into my head
is
like, so the questions, it's like we're like playing pig in the middle. So the questions are like, like the people, let's just say, throwing something, and then you're there just sitting in the middle like, who do I go for? Do I go for this person or do I go for this person? Or do I just go for both?
So basically you're telling me I'm a piggy.
No! No, it's a game!
I know, I'm messing with you. Do you think you are the only one who's allowed to mess?
No.
Yeah.
I took most of the privilege.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a messer in our family.
Yeah.
I'm the serious one. So just in case, if you think that I should smile more, I am giving my best. Because I heard some complaints that I should smile more. I am giving my best. I'm a very serious person normally. Yes?
Yes. So you should smile more.
It's not something that comes to me naturally.
I'm sorry.
My pictures when I was 5 years old are like... That's how my pictures look. When I was on my communion, my pictures were like... Even like all the time. So,
like this?
Kind of, yeah. Basically what you people want from me. But yeah, I think that's all questions, yes?
Yes.
Yes, but you had fun?
Yes.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yes, and also just saying, I am the never clean up person unless someone, I'm pointing the page at who, makes me clean up.
Yeah, because someone is a little piggy.
No.
Yeah, right.
No.
Uh-huh.
No.
Do you really want me to take a picture of your room?
No.
Just before the cleaning?
No.
No. So?
Am I not allowed to be a bit messy?
Occasionally. Okay. So, that's all the questions?
Yes.
Okay. So, thank you for watching. Hope you had a great time. And thank you to Julie for creating this great fun. We had a blast. And I would like to thank 2 vloggers that I really admire and I'm extremely curious of their answers. So first is Karen from So Little Time, and second is Yvette from Blossom Sandwich. I highly recommend you check their channels. I will leave links down below. So that's all for today. Yes?
Yes.
Thank you for watching.
Please subscribe.
And have a lovely evening. And don't forget, clean your machine and change your needle. Happy sewing.
Bye.